really thank Manish here because he used to poke me always, कि यार सबको हाँ नहीं बोलना है kind of an scenario. So which saying no to certain things has evolved us so much better to focus on the right things and eliminating all those things which are not fruitful for your business.
Humans are social animals, right? While we talk about AI, we still strive to learn from other people whom we look up to. We aspire
Correct.
to become who we admire, right?
Right.
Now, in that, we'll start following those people and trying to learn from them. So, let's say if there's a doctor sitting in Africa and he met one doctor in India and he wants to know what that doctor is doing, can I build an AI agent that will help this person to troll the internet and give him updates about a particular doctor's activities across the internet? Can I do that? I would love to be able to do that, because then that makes uh, uh, tracing somebody very easy. It makes me mimic that person everywhere that person goes. Can I
Right.
use AI to help that? I don't know,
Yeah.
but I would love to do that. If you are in a business that doesn't have steady income yet, you must have some backup. You either, whether it's mutual investment, stocks, any other second line of business. It's very important. Opposite of uncertainty is clarity.
The opposite of uncertainty is clarity. Brilliant. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to yet another. So, this is the 56th episode of Business Networking with Vipul Bondal, and thank you, everybody, for joining. Today is the 10th of September 2025, and this is a very special episode in a very different way. So, normally I have one guest and I ask a lot of questions, and the guests answer all of them. And sometimes they get tired answering those questions. So this time we decided we'll do something very different. So I have two guests today, both representing the same company, and I'll tell you why. So both of them, so my guests today are Makrand Desai and Manish Gurbani.
Hi.
They are the co-founders of Conference TV. So I'll tell you what this is all about, but I just thought I'll get both of them because they both together as a team responsible for the success of Conference TV. And I just thought it's a good idea to get both of them together to answer some of these questions. So I'll do one thing. I'll, read out. So what I told them to do is uh, give me an introduction of the other so that, we know how, they think about each other. And they've been both very kind to each other, I must say, and given very nice introductions. So let me read the introduction of Makrand, which has been written by Manish. So this one says Makrand is known as the person never said no and always got things done. This allowed him to build immense trust with customers over the years. He has a very reassuring and calm persona that allows him to instantly connect with people. And that's one of the things that makes him great at networking. He is also like a rock in a turbulent sea, unflappable, unshakable. No matter what the situation is, you won't see him lose his calm. Well, to let you in, Makarand is an old friend, and this is exactly what I also thought about him over the years. I've never seen him lose his cool, even in the most trying of situations. And Manish has stated exactly this. A short introduction of Manish as well, written by Makarand, a sharp thinker and an avid reader with a true problem-solving mindset. He is someone who doesn't jump to conclusions. Instead, he questions every situation deeply before arriving at thoughtful, logical solutions. It's this clarity and curiosity that make his perspective so valuable. So, thank you very much for, acceding to my request and, giving these very lovely introductions about each other. Tell you a little bit about Onference TV. Onference was established as a CME network for doctors in 2016 with a vision to make ongoing education, that CME for doctors, easily available online and at a low cost, and thereby help improve patient outcomes. So what they do is they partner with medical associations and senior individual doctors to create CME content for practicing doctors to learn on their platform. So I'll just give you a little bit of stats to show how Onference has picked up over the period of time. So as of today, they say it's 71,000 unique doctors have upskilled by watching 3,000 plus videos, totaling to 700,000 plus views. 121 one sorry 12,116 doctors have spent nearly 4.5 cr on paid courses and CMEs on their platform. 100 plus association and pharma partners for medical education content, and rupees 10 crore plus whatever. So there are lots of things that they have done, uh, proving that this is a unique thing that they started way back in 2016 and doing extremely well. Welcome to the podcast, Makrand and Manish.
Thank you, Vipul.
This is the
And
longest. I promise I'm going to speak in this. After this, it's all going to be you guys. So, don't get worried.
like before we proceed with Vipul asking us few questions, I want to clarify the CME stands for Continuous Medical Education. For
That's right.
people
Yeah.
who may not be knowing, so just for easier know-how, that is what it means.
Thank you. Thanks, Makran. So that's right. Continuous medical education is what this does. So, for lay people like me who are watching Money, can you tell us what is CME to begin with? I mean, you've given us the full form, of course, but what does it mean in, for the understanding of common people like us?
Layman's perspective, most people don't realize that doctors need to keep learning all their life. Their education does not stop when they become a doctor. Rather, it is said that their education actually begins when they become a doctor.
All right.
Hence the term continuing medical education, because it's a lifelong process, right? Uh,
Great.
um, Now, to further help understand this industry, it's a very specific niche, but it's huge. It's one of the most underrated industries, but it's based on a big problem. We saw a huge problem. Medical errors is one of the leading causes of mortality. Okay,
Right.
study done by British Medical Journal cited that some 43 million medical errors occur annually, and
Oh,
another WHO statistic or study said that 3 million people die globally because of unsafe care. Now, why does unsafe care happens? The leading cause of unsafe care is when a medical practitioner is unable to diagnose the correct disease, and therefore they don't know what's the correct line of treatment. They are assuming. A lot of doctors who do not have enough exposure to different kind of cases end up speculating or following a guideline which may be an established guideline, but it may not be suitable for a particular population or for a particular type of case. Now, how
right.
to understand the nuances of a specific medical problem? Every medical problem has its, while there is data, how do you sift through that? How do you understand that what line of treatment should be used for which particular disease, right? So this was a gap. And what does CMEs do? CMEs help doctors to keep updated with the latest updates in medicine and in medical sciences, and it allows doctors to even upskill themselves. So with newer technologies like the robotic surgeries are starting to become a norm. The doctors who graduated 20 years ago, the surgeons who graduated 20 or 25 years ago, were not trained for robotic procedures, so now they have to upskill themselves. So the structure put together globally for upskilling doctors and keeping them update falls under the purview of what is called continuing medical education. I hope that provides enough clarity.
Thank you. I mean, thanks very much for that perspective. At the very outset, I mean, it's a very specific niche which you rightly mentioned. What got you into doing this? I mean, can you tell us a little bit about your background? You started this in 2016. So, what is the background that led you to begin this business, and how did you see that opportunity? I mean, if you can tell us a little bit about the origins of this.
So I think Makran can talk about the origins. Then once we come to a certain point,
Sure.
I tell you the gap that we saw and how that gap brought us to where we are.
Sure. Okay, Makrand.
Okay, basically, I would say I was born and brought up with all doctors around. Okay, so since
Right,
childhood, I've been seeing all doctors, and somehow I've started liking this fraternity of doctors.
right,
When I started my entrepreneurial journey, I started actually servicing them from preparing those 35 slides for them to present at a conference.
right,
And from 35 slides, then it went on to pivoting into PowerPoint presentations.
right,
After PowerPoint presentations, I used to start, ventured out into event production and event management exclusively for medical and pharma events. And that's where my partnership with Manish started actually. And it's been last 30 years that we are together. And I've been last 3 decades, I've been closely associated with the CME industry. And
right.
as which I've seen this whole industry, starting from a simple slide projector to where it is right now while delivering the lectures. And I've seen how the doctor as a user has evolved. Okay, but I strongly feel doctor as an organizer has not yet evolved, barring a few of them who are ready to experiment with the new age, technology which is there, so that the education really reaches out to the masses. In 2013, we were managing one of the largest medical conference which happened in India, and we felt that this is the time we need to pivot. And
Right.
while we were traveling for one of the meeting, an idea pop up, wherein we felt when a doctor can actually address a gathering of about 500 odd audiences, why can't the same doctor give the same talk from a laptop or from his clinic? And why can't there be a TV for doctors? And hence this idea of Onference TV was born. And
Okay.
13 years after that, it has now coming to reality. As far as Onference TV was conceived way back in 2013.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, when you say on-films TV, I mean, is this a subscription model? If you can just tell,
Yeah.
Manish, maybe you might want to take this. How does your user actually, you know, start using your service? So, is this a subscription model and then they just have to download something and use? I mean, what is the model here?
Okay. All right. So basically, as we since we started as a CME network, we didn't first start as a subscription model.
Okay.
We started more with pay-per-view
Okay.
and free-to-view content. The free-to-view content is typically ad or sponsorship supported by
Right.
pharmaceutical companies who need to make their brands visible in a B2B setup. Pharma companies cannot actually advertise prescription drugs, but
Correct.
can they can give educational grants. They can promote their own corporate presence. So they typically sponsor these CME programs or provide an educational grant.
Correct.
Subscription is something that we started very recently, just 1 year back,
Okay.
as a bucket offering of different topic CMEs every month for doctors, where they pay one price. They don't have to bother about finding the right program. That's our purview. We try to get them different topics,
Okay.
and we've tried to keep it shorter.
Hmm.
So one of the things is that CME programs end up becoming long,
Correct.
8 hours, 10 hours. That's the traditional way conferencing works. 3 days conference with parallel tracks and workshops, right?
Right.
Online consumer is not there for that. So the formats have to change. And with the subscription, we are trying to shrink the formats. We are trying to keep everything under 1 hour and very
Yeah.
focused on topics, no frills. Just come in, watch the topic you want, and go away. And it's no longer
Right.
about just a live CME. The positioning of Conference TV is to make the viewer understand two things. One, that you're not coming here to read a book. You're not coming here to look at somebody's presentation as they talk off the slides. It's
Right.
about engaging discussions. It's more about podcast format. It's more about interviews and a lot of case discussions, right? Today, if you talk about guidelines, anyone can go to doctors are using AI to figure out guidelines or find unique cases, but the
Right.
interpretation of a guideline, the different aspects of a particular case. Okay. Sometimes there's a multidisciplinary approach. Sometimes multiple specialists have to work on the same case, right? An anesthesiologist, a cardiologist, or
Right.
in case of women's healthcare, you will have a team of radiologists who will do the diagnosis in a particular way. So
Right.
as a platform, on Fringe TV wants to make it easy for viewers to watch content, wants to make it affordable and no
Right.
hassle. So the subscription service is something that we will be investing more in to give a
Right.
hassle-free experience.
Great. Okay. So I'm sure, I mean, any new technology or any new service has its own set of challenges, right? I mean, can you tell us some of those challenges that you faced when you started this? And with no offense meant, I mean, the doctor community is one of the toughest communities to, deal with. One, because of the time constraints that are there, and then also several other constraints that exist. So how did you face up to some of these challenges? And I'm sure there were some other challenges which I have not mentioned, which you were up against.
Yeah, so I'll tell you the when we started, as Makrand told you, our background, we're coming from medical events. The first challenge we thought would be a challenge ended up not being the biggest challenge. We thought, how will two non-tech entrepreneurs navigate the tech landscape and build a platform? We thought that is as the
Going to
biggest
be a
challenge,
challenge.
right? But that wasn't the biggest challenge. The biggest challenge was the chicken and egg problem, right? Without content, users will not come to our platform. Without users, why will a content creator put content on our platform?
Yeah,
It's a real problem, right? And anybody in the content space or has faced that problem till they achieve critical mass.
correct.
How do you bring content creators and users and grow at the same time? That was the biggest,
Right.
and it still remains a challenge. I can tell you, 8 years into the business, our current challenges are also revolving around content. uh,
Okay.
the problem is slightly different now. It's about the format of content. It's about the duration of content.
Correct.
Doctors want to learn, as with anyone else. The minute you sit on your phone or laptop, you want to learn fast. You don't want to
Right.
spending all your time watching the same thing in front of a screen, right?
Correct.
Even doctors want to learn in as less time as possible. So today the
Right.
problem we have is how do you create content, bite-sized content? How do you take complex medical content and find the right creator who can serve it as bite-sized information?
Correct.
These
Correct.
are the challenges. I think that any content-based platform cannot escape these challenges. So the thing that you asked about how we handle these challenges, the initial period pre-COVID was the toughest because there was demand from the user side. We did some surveys. There was
Okay.
demand for making CME content available online because the
Right.
thought process was simple. If a doctor is sitting in a auditorium and listening to one doctor, that's 500 people listening to one doctor. Why can't it be done on a laptop or on a mobile? A mobile was
Right.
not a conversation in 2014. It was more about laptop.
Right.
So the demand was there, but on the supply side, the content creators were not invested enough into recording their content and putting it online. There was
Correct.
a fear that will my content be misused? Okay, that
Correct.
fear was real, right? But you don't see that now because content has become a commodity,
Correct.
right? And people want their content online because it brings them visibility. The
Right.
narrative has changed. So that's been one shift that has happened, and that shift has happened during COVID a lot. So
Correct.
post-COVID, we did not face this problem from the content creators. A lot of senior doctors, a lot of associations do need online presence. They want focused presence to their community of doctors. It's
Right.
easy. You will see doctors on Instagram connecting with patients. That's great. But where do doctors connect with their own community?
Communities.
Okay, so we want to facilitate that. We want a key opinion leader to be able to share their knowledge very easily to their community of doctors. It should happen in a snap. So we're trying to build that, and what I'm coming to say is that as we are evolving, the challenges are evolving, and we're trying to keep pace with it. New every year brings some new set of challenges.
Something new. Okay. Fantastic. So, both of you have been working now for a while with each other, right? I mean, it's obvious the way you wrote your, introductions for each other. There is a certain chemistry that you both share. But I'm sure there are disagreements as well as you go along. I mean, it happens with, the best of partners, right? Even Sachin Tendulkar and Saurav Ganguly used to once in a while, not take a single when the others is called it and all that. So there are all kinds of disagreements which happen, right? So how do you work with each other? I mean, the reason I'm asking you this is a lot of people work with other people. And, I've seen a lot of partnerships break because there have been disagreements. So I'm sure, there's a way you work it out. So tell us, how do you work out your disagreements with each other and forge ahead?
So I think on this, both of us will have our own viewpoints and we'll just agree to disagree, and you
I
should.
agree to disagree. So give us both those points of view or more so that, there's a little bit of learning that all of us get.
So I think I'll let Makrand speak first on this, his view.
Okay. All right. Yes, Makran.
So can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
So as far as Manish is about 9 years younger to me.
Okay.
Okay, when we met in college,
Right.
and we were a part of a project group that time when we met in college,
Okay.
and there was some kind of an sync which set right as far as how he approached particular project and how I approached. Okay,
Okay.
and while we both came together to form an event management company, and the way of working what we used to do uh, was slightly different, but
Right.
like agree to disagree kind of a thing was there. Okay,
Right.
while I was very calm, and for any situation he's completely opposite of that.
Okay.
The opposite of that, it means in office, if a voice is heard, is of Manish only, while
Okay.
screaming at any employee or any process is not following, is it was Manish who used to scream, and we were knowing that it is now Manish is in office and he's doing his bit of churning with the employees.
Right.
And
Okay.
for me, I used to assess it later, and then we used to have a discussion later for a particular situation to be handled well. Yeah, but disagreements were there,
I'm
and
sure. Yeah, I'm sure they are.
we've been managing it well.
So, Manish, I'm sure you disagree with that. So, if you can tell us your point of view.
Fortunately, I don't disagree
You
with that.
don't disagree.
I
Okay,
do
great.
have to add something to it.
Okay.
You
Sure.
specifically asked about how do we handle disagreements. While there is
Okay.
no fixed method,
I'm
I will
sure.
tell you that because we are very different personalities. He's far more social. I prefer solitude. For me, problem fixing happens alone in my head, and then I bring it out for discussion. But here's what happens. We always focus on the outcome. We've gotten to a point mature enough in our partnership that uh, we think about what is the impact in the future. So if we take a
Okay.
decision today collectively and it is a business level decision, yeah, obviously we don't discuss every operational decision, right?
Obviously.
Unless something becomes a sore point. But by and large, a business decision, if we are having a disagreement, we always defer back to the outcome. What are we working for? What do we want? What
Right.
we defer back to the goals. If this decision is not moving towards the outcome that we intended, then there is no point taking this decision. We'd rather take another decision, take another path that takes us closer to the outcome that we have decided on. So this is how we actually resolve our disagreements.
Awesome. I mean, I think this is a fabulous insight which you've given. Focus on what is the end purpose of what you're doing. And if that particular decision is, moving towards that, you guys go ahead with it. And then, despite whatever disagreements you may have while discussing it, then once that thing is taken, you take it forward. I mean, I'm sure there are other ways you resolve it, but, this is a great insight you've given us. So, you know, uh, I also wanted to ask you a little more than just your business and profits and, revenues and all of that. I'm sure uh, over a period of time, both of you been together with each other for more than 20 years, is what you mentioned. So, I'm sure there's more to what you do than, revenues and profits. So what are those one or two things, or, things about your business that keeps you going? I mean, why would you want to be in this business after all these years, and what is it that's taking you ahead?
Um, so I'll tell you what, it's not about uh, for a minute focus stop let's not focus on conference per se as a platform, right?
Sure.
And one of the things that keeps us going is us. We've worked together for so long. I cannot see myself doing anything else. Okay,
Okay.
that's one thing. Because even I understand, we've seen, so we hear so many startups split up because of the founders equation breaking.
Correct.
And
Correct.
but in my head, and I know Makarand believes the same, that whatever we do, whatever venture we do, uh, it's safe to say that we'll do it together, right? That's one thing. That's what keeps us together.
Great.
Then comes the next question: is the industry that we serve. Since the beginning, we've worked with the same customer, doctors. They are our
Right.
customer, right? So we have worked with them so long, we understand their problems really, really from a different vantage point, because we're not trying to sell them anything, right? We are not a pharma company trying to sell a prescription. We are not a medical equipment manufacturer. We are a service provider, and our customer is the doctor, correct?
Right.
You see, our journey has evolved in that direction. So what keeps us here is that we are serving a community of professionals who has a direct impact on the health index of a country, right?
Correct.
That's what keeps us going. When we were doing medical events, at a point we got bored, and we figured out why we got bored. Once the event is over, everything is gone except for the memories that some delegates will carry back, for the
Yeah.
organizers. There's nothing left, right? What is the lasting impact? So a platform like this is creating lasting impact for maybe a doctor 20 years from now, can come in, and I don't know where technology will take them, but it'll be just like they are plugging into the collective intelligence of an entire medical fraternity. Why? Because the content was brought online. Okay. So this is what keeps us going many times. And it's such a niche sector that we have to work very hard for the growth. So what motivates us is this.
Sure.
Educating doctors means you are actually long term impacting the health index of a country. If you remember, I
Fantastic.
mentioned that medical errors is one of the leading causes of mortality, right?
Correct.
How can you change that? You can change that by improving the education available to doctors, right? And understand which doctors we are talking about. We are talking about the ground level doctors in outside of your urban areas, where
Right.
there aren't always specialists. There is a physician who's wearing multiple hats,
Correct.
right? We are also catering to that doctor. We want that CMA education should be made available to a doctor anywhere in the world at very low price and immediately. There should be no
Good.
delay in CMA content or medical educational content being available. Breakthroughs should be instantly available. Pandemic situations should allow doctors to be able to collaborate instantly via online platforms and share collective intelligence.
Correct.
That's what keeps us going. These kind of thoughts.
So, what is your market? I mean, are your customers are only from India, or are you looking at global markets? What is your customer profile today?
Today, largely, we decided to build our base in two specialties. One is women's healthcare,
Women's.
gynecologists, and the other is pediatricians.
Okay.
Gynecologist has been the first specialty we got into. Radiologist, especially the radiologists who have specialized in fetal monitoring through the for women's related ultrasound.
Right.
And now we're getting into pediatrics. The reason we we didn't go across, we didn't go wide, we decided to go deep, is to build a community of gynecologists who repeatedly comes on their own, knowing
Mhm.
that there is platform, that Conference TV has a lot of platform content for them,
Right.
right?
Okay.
They don't have to look in multiple places. We've successfully done that in India. More than 45,000 gynecologists use
Well,
our platform. Um, it's a very healthy index where the repeat users, monthly active users are about 15,000. We don't track daily active users yet.
okay.
Um, because most of the CMEs happen towards weekend, so doctors are habituated to consuming over the weekend. But we are now
Right.
expanding internationally. We have about 12,000 doctors from 100 plus countries.
Okay.
That's nothing. That's just a drop in the sea. But the goal is to go global and serve emerging markets, allow developed markets to share their knowledge with underdeveloped and emerging markets where the need for healthcare is more because of population boom, and
Correct.
economies of emerging markets on the rise. Government spending on healthcare infra is also going up. So with healthcare infra improving, you know, what has to follow is the medical education for doctors to up their level
Right.
also. So, yes, we are going into emerging markets in Africa, Southeast Asia, Middle East. These are markets we are aggressively targeting in the coming year.
Okay. I mean, just for my knowledge and also for others, I mean, are there platforms like yours available anywhere in the world? I mean, in
Yeah,
that
yeah.
sense, or
I'll
are you
let
unique?
Makrand will be better suited to tell you.
Makrand?
So there are a couple of platforms which are there who are focusing on similar kind of an work.
Okay.
Okay, but having said that, I can say that Onference is because we deep dive in OBGYN.
Okay.
And I can say that we are the one of the topmost platform in OBGYN segment across the world to
Okay.
access content, because we have heard from various key opinion leaders across the globe saying that there is nothing like our platform in their country, and countries
Correct.
like USA, Europe, they do not have such kind of a platform integrated purely for OBGYN segment. While we are expanding now with other specialties, yes, we are focused enough into purely medical education via this platform. I'm sure we'll be one of the topmost platform in the world.
If you're not letting out a secret, if you can tell me which are the other specialties you're looking out, I mean, we'll be focusing on soon.
Right now, as Manish said, we are focusing on OBGYN pediatrics.
Correct.
We intend to focus on cardiology.
Cardio,
Uh, Cardiology is the next one, and onco would be the next one.
cardio and onco are the
Yes.
next ones. So, I mean, if I look at what you've told us so far, and and also out of doing my own little bit of a research before speaking to you, you seem to be a disruptor in that sense. I mean, you've not only disrupted the way medical education, or rather continuous medical education was happening, you also created a niche for yourself. So how do you plan to take this forward? I mean, what are your goals on taking you already created that disruption. Now how do you want to make it sustainable?
Okay, so first, let me tell you one thing about the CMA industry. This is perhaps, I might be wrong, but perhaps this is the only industry where the content creator has to often pay to validate and distribute their own knowledge. Okay. To me, this system is broken, and but this is how the medical publication industry is designed, and I don't think this is sustainable in today's day. Things need to change now. I already mentioned that, but I'll stress on it again. Distribution of scientific content should be affordable and accessible to any doctor in the world. Now, to that end,
Hmm.
uh, we've been servicing them through our platform. It's still a service, software as a service or platform as a service model,
Right.
right? But how do we make this sustainable is, um, imagine a doctor wants to announce a share material that's recorded. They should be able to do it instantly to a captive audience. Now, anyone can upload content on YouTube.
Right.
You're not serving it to a captive audience of doctors, right? You don't know who it's going out to on YouTube.
Absolutely.
You want a platform that's focused as a community, right? But what about creating future programs, announcing future CME programs, right? CME
Right.
programs is by its definition continuous. So
Correct.
we feel that a doctor or association should be able to self-serve themselves. They should be able
Right.
to plan and announce a CME program, whether it's a conference or a workshop, in under 5 minutes, right? So we want to move towards that. This is how you
Hmm.
can make CME education self-sustainable in the long term. Why?
Right.
Because the planning cost is high, the turnaround time is high. The events industry thrives on complexities, right?
Right.
tech today can remove those complexities, automate it, and allow doctors to self-serve themselves in the CME space.
Hmm.
And by doing that, you are allowing a lot more doctors who are sitting with a lot of data. Okay, every doctor is a content creator. Remember that.
Correct.
Every doctor has clinical studies to showcase.
Right.
What if you give them a self-serving system that allows them to become a contributor and collaborate in real time? Okay.
Yeah.
The
Hmm.
minute this whole industry becomes self-sustainable and doesn't depend on external grants or advertisers, it's also economical for content creators and content consumers, then
Hmm.
it's safe to say that any platform that's able to do this will continue to build on that.
Right.
Okay. Why? Because it will be thriving on the strength of its community.
Right.
Okay, so we are trying to move in a direction where we want the CME industry to be able to deploy CME programs really fast at very low cost, keep it affordable, and uh, contribute to real time education rather than the continuing medical education should become real time. That's the goal.
Amazing. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's as at this point in time, some of what you say sounds, a little bit of a dream, but I'm sure you'll get there very soon. So I'll come to a topic which is actually drive this whole podcast, which is business networking, and that's a topic which is very close to Makrand's heart, I know. So,
So,
Makrand, if you can tell us about business networking, what has been your own experience as a business networker, and also how it has helped you transition. I mean, your entire journey, how business networking has helped you as you went along.
so business networking. In some time back, Manish said, he loves solitude, and I am the
Networker.
person who's keeps on networking and meeting a lot of people. So I feel the business networking, one should have at least three networks. Like for me, I was part of one of the business network organization earlier for 14 years. That actually taught me various systems and processes. While it did not give me more business as far as business networking concerned, but it gave me a lot of relationship. And before that, as I said, I was born and brought up with doctors around. I
Right.
built a lot of trust and relationships with them while creating their content. Okay, and I that time I didn't know these. I would be in the content business after so many years. Okay,
Right.
and that particular trust and relationship, and them liking me first. That
Right.
that helps in networking. One needs to like that person first, and then whatever you sell to them or whatever you product or services you sell, they would majorly consume that particular thing. So that's where it has helped me up, because for me, meeting doctors and meeting pharmaceutical representatives at a physical conference, sharing a lot of personal as well as professional exchange of notes has helped me build a rapport good enough that I feel any doctor is just a call away as far as
Right.
my network is concerned.
Okay.
And because of that particular kind of a networking, there's a lot of there's this five words which are up my sleeve, that how can I help you? That
Okay.
particular these five words really has put across my friend network and all those things. A lot of people ask me, I want a referral to this doctor. I want an appointment with a particular doctor. Can you refer me, or which doctor should I go? So
Hmm.
I always try and fix up an appointment for them, so that it's easier for them to get to a right doctor, because they do not know really which one to go. Okay,
Yeah.
and that's where it has helped. So networking broadly has helped me, and because of my network, it has helped a lot of people as well. But I feel the business networking with relevant people with your target market does help. Yeah, and just to give you one observation of business networking, okay,
Hmm.
which I've seen over the period of years, when you go out in a network where you don't know anyone, okay, and when you approach and shake hands with that person and ask him this question, what do you do? Okay, he starts
Right.
speaking about himself, what he does, and all those things, and then he immediately moves on to the other person. okay, without asking you what you exactly do. You know,
Correct.
there's one kind of an person who is there, and there's a second kind of a person who retaliates back and asks you in detail what exactly you do, and
Right.
you need to be more important and focused on building rapport with this second person rather than the first person.
First place.
This is a basic observation which I've seen, and I feel that second kind of an person will really help anyone while doing networking in a long run. Whether now or in future, he will surely help you.
Fantastic. I mean, you've kind of distilled business networking very beautifully in a few words. So, what is your advice, Makran, to somebody who, let's say there's a businessman who's, thinking, whether he should do business or not. He's somebody like Manish, who thinks a lot. So, if that person is thinking a lot, whether he should do business networking or not, what would your advice be to a person like that?
I feel the whole business fraternity has evolved so much since last so many years. And like I'll tell you my example, right from start, whenever I was in a business networking forums, they used to ask me, do you do corporate events? I said, no, I don't do corporate events. I do medical conferences, which is very was very specific. And right from start till today, it was, very focused with the same target market.
Right.
While many people starts their business with doing saying yes to a lot of things, okay,
Right.
and over the period of years, uh, I mean, I said no to a lot of things, and I would really thank Manish here because he used to poke me always, कि यार सबको हाँ नहीं बोलना है kind of an scenario. So, which saying no to certain things has evolved us so much better to focus on the right things and eliminating all those things which are not fruitful for your business. So if anyone is wanting to start, they can they also can start in a focused way in whatever they love. Okay, whatever it should love them, it should satisfy them at the end of it, not because they want to do business, because I am aware of so many people who say yes to 100 things,
Thousands of things. Yeah.
and they don't want to really give the kind of service which the client may be wanting it. So one can really focus on something which is liking towards them. They can keep on upskilling themselves, keep on learning them, upskilling them and learning a lot of new things, which can,
Right.
like I've been pivoting from a simple 35 slice to a platform which is, currently what we are running.
Correct.
It's a long journey where if I had not pivoted with new things coming up, you would not learn. Okay. And now when the AI, where every industry is speaking about AI, as far as healthcare is concerned, um, one needs to know how to utilize AI. So a human is a must here uh,
Right.
while using AI, which is going to benefit how to extract information from AI for
Yeah.
the benefit of business is important. So human is a integral part of AI, which cannot go out of it. And I
Do
can
you
tell you one
use
more thing.
AI? Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
During my post graduation, my thesis was on AI.
Oh, okay.
That was way back in 1994, AI in
Right.
meetings. Okay, and when I opened that thesis, and the AI has been around since then.
Right.
Right now, with the platforms and the product which are built around AI are really disrupting various things, but a human is a must there. Without human, you
Humanism.
can't move ahead.
So, do you use AI in your business? I mean, because a lot of things that you do would, would be
Yes.
helpful. AI would be helpful to you in terms of being able to reach
Not
the
really.
content out.
The current products which are there, they are not really helpful. But right now, we are wanting to have to build AI within our platform itself.
Within your platform. Okay.
Within our platform, where it will enable our users to get to a right kind of an content which they need. Means I think Manish has some points to say here.
Sure.
So before I talk about I must say that I know Makrand since 25 years and I did not know that his thesis was AI and diabetes. I now want to read that. You learn something new every day. So
Right.
here's the thing about AI. People think that AI will solve problems for them instantly. but
Right.
it can sometimes confuse people. In the context of medicine, there are a lot of doctors who are using AI, and
Right.
very well, I must say. The issue stems from context. AI may not give you enough context today, uh, because of where it's sourcing its information from,
Hmm.
right? But that's something that will change gradually. Today, AI will have its own source algorithms to where it's picking up, because there's a lot of people who have to train AI. Like today, when we ask AI about conference, it doesn't have enough information till the time we don't give it, right? So we have
Correct.
to assume what our users are also asking and what are they learning on AI. I know people who are doing research on how people are using AI tools, what kind of
Yeah.
in different demographies. So what we would like to say is that AI should not be used as a doctor. A doctor
Yeah.
should not outsource their own thinking to AI. They should
Hmm.
use AI to in today's day and age, at least, and as AI stands, they should use AI to make it easy to find information. Because if you look at how much medical data is there outside, look beyond the guidelines. There is so much information. Every discussion between two doctors is knowledge, right?
Right.
How do you sift through that knowledge? The best way today is to use artificial intelligence to do that work of sifting through. In tech, it's being used, right? Claude
Right.
is completely built on, I think, GitHub, if I'm not mistaken, right? So it's looking at the entire repository of GitHub. So now imagine if I have 9,000 videos. Can I make
Exactly.
an AI agent on it that makes it easy for doctors to find relevant discussions for themselves? Okay.
Hmm.
Rather than having AI give a summary, because as we all know now, AI also hallucinates, right? You don't want a doctor getting a wrong hallucinated answer out, and a patient is sitting across from them. No, you don't want that happening. As a responsible platform, I would use AI more to make it easy for doctors to search for the right CME program, uh,
Right.
just point them in the right direction without them having to struggle. That's one way. Another way, that I would use AI is, let's say a doctor's, humans are social animals, right?
Yeah.
While we talk about AI, we still strive to learn from other people whom we look up to. We aspire
Correct.
to become who we admire, right?
Right.
Now in that, we'll start following those people and trying to learn from them. So let's say if there's a doctor sitting in Africa and he met one doctor in India and he wants to know what that doctor's doing. Can I build an AI agent that will help this person to troll the internet and give him updates about a particular doctor's activities across the internet? Can I do that? I would love to be able to do that, because then that makes uh, uh, tracing somebody very easy. It makes me mimic that person everywhere that person goes. Can I
Right.
use AI to help that? I don't know
Yeah.
today, but I would love to do that. So I think there
Hmm.
are very creative ways that AI can be used. Today it's being used primarily for search, but
Right.
yeah, possibility is endless. We just need to see which AI engine wins the race.
Right. There are two questions which have come onto the group, so I'll ask them. So, first question is from Anjali Singh. Her question is, how did COVID-19 change the way you view uncertainty and disruption in business?
Okay, so that's actually happening even now for us.
Right.
Uh, COVID-19 actually was a switch that just came on for us.
Flip. Yeah.
Because still COVID did not come, as I mentioned, the content creators did not enough trust online, right? But when COVID happened, all across the board, all medical conferences, workshops shut down. People had to go online, right?
Right.
So that gave a not only a business boost, but it changed habits forever.
Hmm.
Okay, it completely changed habits. What doctors used to take 6 months to organize an event, they are now organizing it in a month. Okay. The expectation of a delegate who wants to learn, also, they used to be okay to wait, and people used to register earlier for conferences. They are now registering at the last minute because they want to see. Nobody is pre-planning their time too much in advance. There was a time people used to enroll for physical events 1.5 year in advance.
Right.
Not seeing that happening. Why? Because knowledge, or access to knowledge is easy. So that's one of the disruptions that's happened post COVID in a good way for us. But
Right.
what happened after the initial 2 years of COVID? We realized another change that's happened where doctors were used to sitting all day long in a conference, okay, whether in person or online. They also have changed their habits. They want to learn as fast as possible, and this has been facilitated by a lot of doctors going on to Instagram and becoming influencers.
Right.
That has shaped how they perceive CME content also. They don't,
Okay.
nobody wants to sit. So, you have the concept of full papers and abstracts, which is a shorter version. Not enough doctors are reading,
Yeah.
right? Everyone wants to gravitate towards the most natural form of learning, which is visual, and
Hmm.
video is the best format. So that's one of the biggest disruptions that we've seen in terms of video content post COVID, and that's helping us.
Fantastic. So another question, this one is from Twinkle Khanna. The question is, how do you handle this perception that digital education is less serious than in-person CMEs? Firstly, is there a perception like that? And if there is, then how do you handle it?
So I can't say that this perception is true or false because
Okay.
um, as a platform, it's difficult for me to do that. I've never thought about it that way. We never encountered that.
Okay.
Uh, but if there is a perception like that, if there's a perception like that, I would like to address it. And how would I address it is I would look at data, right?
Okay.
We have more than 9,000 videos. We have uh, 15,000 monthly active users. We have
Right.
about 5,000 who I will call my lowest funnel of users who I don't need to market to them. They are coming almost every day on my platform to learn.
Right.
I don't think I don't think that's less serious. That's more serious, right? Because the same doctor is not going to a physical conference every day. They're not able to go to a physical conference
Right.
every day. There used to be a time we would see that in season time from September to October to March post monsoon, CME physical CME programs were running over full. Okay.
Right.
Today, if you go to a lot of conferences, unless it is a topic focused workshop, so I'll specify here. If there's a workshop that is teaching a doctor to improve their endoscopy skills, it's a hands-on training program, right? That will go full. But
Right.
if there is a general CME program, the attendance is dwindling because understand that the doctor has to leave their practice. Most of the conferences globally, conferences happen between Monday and Friday, right?
Right.
That's time away from a doctor for a doctor
Correct.
from their
Patient.
practice, right? And if a doctor doesn't go to the practice, they don't earn. They earn in consulting,
Correct.
right, or surgical fee. So in India, it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay. So what would a doctor prefer? If they have given quality content, as long as they are given quality content online, they will
Right.
rather save their time by not attending a physical conference and consume that information online, unless they want to learn something hands-on, right? Data is showing that. If you look at a lot of associations, medical associations, the membership will be about 40,000. Or I'll take a city-based association, a membership of the members are about 3,000, but the attendance in the physical conference is no more than 200. Why is that? Where pre-COVID the attendance was almost 1,000. One
Hmm.
third of the members were attending. We were doing those events, right?
Yeah.
Why is the attendance dwindling? Because people are taking online seriously. This is the data
Right.
show. This is not me saying it.
Hmm.
The question of seriousness then comes in the kind of content you're being served. There are two
Correct.
kinds of content being served. One is look at the source. Is the content coming from a credible source?
Hmm.
Okay, is it coming from an association that kind of vets the content that is made available for doctors? Or is it
Right.
from a company that is only speaking about a particular molecule or a brand, right? Because then you know that the company is going to speak about its own product. It's like a branded content. There's nothing wrong in that per se, but it's all about perception. So
Okay.
some doctors do associate Onference as a very credible academic platform because um, 90% of our content is coming from individual doctors and associations and not ad supported. Even today, if one was to scroll on my platform, you're not going to see random ads popping up. We don't support that model at all. So the seriousness comes from the source of the content. The seriousness comes from our users' willingness to repeatedly come on our platform and consume content, and maybe other platforms also. I'm speaking for myself, but
Correct.
habits have changed. It is time saving, it is cost saving for people to learn online.
Right. Super. So, Makran, the next two questions I will ask you because it is pertaining to something that we just spoke, but I'll ask because this has been asked by uh, first is Kanchan Kaur Balani. The question is if you had to, sorry, if there is one marketing lesson that you would like to give young doctor entrepreneurs, what would it be? So that is a question. And the other question is how can business leaders balance ethics and profitability when survival pressures rise? Take your time to think about it if you want, but
The first question about marketing, there are two kinds of, I'm not a marketing expert, first thing. Second thing, like some time back, Manish said, lot of doctors are now on Instagram to give information about a particular disease to the patient. So obviously, that is from patients to be going to that doctor specialist for a particular reason.
right,
So I believe that is working for some doctors. For some doctors, it is not working. But
right,
purely from an academic point of view, wherein a generalist doctor and a specialist doctor, okay, when a generalist doctor needs to consume certain academic content which is not there on Instagram or on YouTube, or I would say he wouldn't know which is a correct information there as against
right,
what is the information being consumed on our platform, where he would understand at what point he can refer that patient to a specialist,
right,
okay, which is going to help that patient to be
right,
benefited out of it. So that is a right way of uh, as far as using our academic as a tool to understand when to refer a patient means up
sure.
from that point of view, I would say.
Right.
Can you say the second part of the
The
question?
second one is w- how can business leaders balance ethics and profitability when survival is, I mean, when you have to survive, when survival pressures rise?
Okay. Um, I can speak on ethics part of it, and I'll pass on that second part of the question to my.
Profitability too. Yeah, to
So I'll tell you what. Right from start, whenever I had got into the entrepreneur, the ethics has been the core of it. Okay.
right,
Just to give an example, during earlier times when there used to be conference and there used to be 100 speakers talking in a CME, all 100 slides were being prepared by me, the presentations.
right,
Okay. And there used to be a session called prize paper, wherein a particular topic was given to five different doctors and they were allowed to speak. And all
right,
presentations were done by me. Okay. And while doing that presentation, while the other doctors used to know that the presentations are being done by me itself, they used to ask me, can you share me what the other doctor has presented or created with you? And that
right.
was the first point of ethics which came into existence when I said I cannot give you that particular information
Perfect.
until and unless that doctor who has created gives me permission to share that particular thing. Okay. So that was the first point of ethic, and that has been carried on to till date when we are doing this content business, wherein we share consent to all the doctors to have it put on our platform. And there have
Correct.
been instances where I think about 5 to 6 doctors who have replied back that I do not want our content to be part of your platform. So we
Right.
have gone ahead and edited that full 8-hour video, removing his part of the uh, talk and stitch the video again and put it for consumption later. So that is where the ethics lies.
Ethics.
Yes, till that we have been, we've been using ethics till date, and that has worked. And I believe doctors also would appreciate on that particular thing. On the profitability part, I would ask Manish to look at.
So, Manish, the question was, how do you balance ethics and profitability? I think, uh, is firstly, are they two different things that you need to balance it, or is it the same thing? I mean, maybe you
Uh,
might want to begin from that perspective.
they are not different things, but they are connected, right?
Right.
How
Okay.
can you be ethical if you can't survive? That's the first thing, right?
Right.
So, but in order to the importance of ethics, I think Makrand has told you, if you're not ethical, it'll catch up to you eventually.
Sure.
It'll catch up with anybody, right? So you have to be ethical. How do you balance ethical and profitability? The most logical answer is you have to have a second source of income if you are in a business that doesn't have steady income yet. You must have some backup. You have, you either, whether it's your whether it's mutual investment, stocks, any other second line of business. It's very important. I mean, I understand going all in. It's very easy to say yes, I'm all in, and we are all in, but we know the struggle when, especially when you are on a startup. When there are two stages, right? When you are validating your product, your outflow might be lesser, or when you're bootstrapping your way and trying to uh, get market traction and growth, then you have to spend more. Where your expenses start getting fixed, but your revenue might not be fixed.
Yeah.
That is where survival kicks in for a business.
Correct. Correct.
Survival instinct kicks in. So one of the things is, for your own personal security, you should have a second source of income, so that
Right.
if your house expense is not taken care of, you cannot focus on ethics or anything. You just have to survive. Then you'll do
Right.
anything. The other thing is, for the business, you should be able to stay frugal.
Right.
uh, as a startup where you don't have, if the nature of your business is that you don't have purchase order for 6 months, and in content business we don't have a long runway,
Yeah.
right? Nobody is going to give us purchase order for 12 months. No pharma company is going to do that. No association is going to sign a contract with us and saying, blanket consent for content in the next 12 months. That's
Correct.
right. So every month is a hustle. And a lot of our revenue comes from users who buy. If the
Right.
content is not good, users stop buying, my cash flows disappear.
Right.
In a matter of 2 3 months, my cash flows are gone. So you have to be able to downsize very fast.
Hmm.
In order to downsize very fast, if you realize, I'm not even talking about ethics because I don't think that's part of this conversation. Ethics comes into the picture, and you start compromising on ethics if you have not done the other things in your
Right.
business. You have not figured out that you are going to run out of cash flows in 3 months. Then you will come to a point where you will say, "Arey, I have to pay the bills this month. So let me accept this business which is unethical." You will be
Hmm.
forced to do that. Then there is no choice.
Hmm.
You're not going to have that. The choice is taken for you. Either you
Correct.
shut the business down, declare bankruptcy, or you accept business that is, you accept monies that are not coming the ethical way.
Right.
But you want to maintain that choice. Look at your cash flows. Do you have your runway for the next 3 months? Are you, if you're not going to have your runway, start planning for a downsizing, or don't take on new expenses. Don't do any experiments.
Hmm.
Just be a little conservative till you have enough cash flow. Then you can experiment, right? In this business, we've had a lot of offers of money that doesn't fall under ethics. And I don't want to talk about it, but
Sure.
we could have had top lines that were 10 times what we are doing right now.
Right.
Because we've stayed frugal as a startup, we're a very small company doing big work. And we think that hiring of resources or any new resources should be taken on the basis of business that's coming your way.
Right.
Uh, and if you can't justify the hire, don't do the expenditure, whether it's hiring a resource or hiring a vendor. So that will
Right.
help you stay clean, and
Frugal.
it will help you be able to take a choice of whether you should be ethical or not. Don't be in a situation, because if you are already in a situation where you cannot take the choice and you have cash flows, then I will say, please go ahead and do it. Be ethical, be unethical today. As long as you're not really going and killing someone, be unethical today, survive another day and correct it later. That's how I'll put it.
Well, thank you, because Swati here had asked one question. Her question was, if uncertainty is the new normal, what is the piece of advice you would give every entrepreneur starting today? I think, Manish, you've kind of answered it already. So is there anything else? I mean, this is the question that Swati has, is that if uncertainty is the new normal, what's
Yeah,
the one
I
piece of advice you would give every entrepreneur who's starting?
Okay, I will like to talk about this because
Sure.
today most of the discussions around uncertainty revolve around the disruption that AI is causing, right? That's what's letting businesses shut down instantly. And I will say that when we look at it that way, we are just looking at the past. AI is only going to disrupt legacy businesses the way SaaS started disrupting ERPs and so on. I can keep
Right.
going, but no. The point is, while AI will disrupt legacy businesses, it will also give rise to new opportunities which are not obvious today. Okay. Now, if you are in your 20s or even 30s, and you have 30, 40 years to plan your growth, you should read. Okay. You should read science fiction. I grew up reading science fiction because it's a glimpse into the future. And a
Right.
lot of what I read when I was growing up, I'm seeing it happen today. And I'm not talking just about technology in the future. I'm talking about social behaviors changing a lot. You go to any you read books like you read authors like Isaac Asimov. They've written very thought-provoking books. Uh, I, Robot, the relationship between man and machine, humans' relationship with that. You read the Foundation series. It will actually tell you how communities are thriving in a post-capitalist, where money is not there. You look at Star Trek. Star Trek
Yeah.
might be a kids show, but there's no money in Star Trek. So what do people aspire to? Right? If you want to actually look at opportunities in the future and you want to look at uncertain, you want to analyze the uncertain times today, you must look into the future because everything has been imagined. Uh, just read science fiction. I will also say read your ancient books. I think it's a circle. Read books,
Yeah.
the Mahabharata, read the Bhagavad Gita. Everything that has to be written has been written.
Has been
And reading
fantastic.
will you help you gain clarity. Otherwise, we are just muddling thoughts in our own head, and 90% of the problems are sitting in our head. You want to read it. After that, start writing. So you will get clarity. The opposite of uncertainty is clarity.
Superb. The opposite of uncertainty is clarity. Brilliant. So this is absolutely the last question.
Yeah.
Uh, how do you keep trust intact with different people? Is the question. This question comes from Rohit Nambiar. Thank you, Rohit, for asking that question. His question is, how do you keep trust intact with different people?
Um, I would like Makran also to give his perspective, but I'll give you
Sure.
my perspective. Transparency. We work with different stakeholders, right? We are working with associations, we are working with individual doctors, we are working with pharmaceutical companies. Transparency is the key to trust. Um, if you try to hide something or shove it under the carpet, it's going to come back and bite you. You'd rather tackle the bull by the horns and build a narrative that works to everybody's advantage. That's the important thing. And when you build a narrative that works to your advantage, then you don't need to hide anything. And you can build trust based on transparency. If you can build trust based on transparency, uh, that one instance of people validating that you said something and it happened exactly that way, you lived up to your promise,
Hmm.
that that counts for a lot. It will be
Right.
remembered. But the opposite is also true. You say
Right.
something, uh, it's not true, or you misled that person, that will be remembered for much longer.
Much longer.
Yeah, so you must be transparent. Don't try to cover up facts. Try to build a story around facts into a narrative that suits the agenda.
Right.
If Makran wants to say anything
Makrand,
about
your perspective?
the one who deals with people more than I do.
So there have been situations where those people who have been wanting certain information out of me
Right.
been asking again and again thing. There are people who've been saying that you are what you are because of me.
Right.
Right. So, why can't you give me certain information which I'm looking out for? The only thing I said I can't give straight away. Okay, I
Mm.
cannot give because right now the information what I have built is my property. If you
Right.
want to run any campaign, okay, I will run it for you. But I can't hand it over to you just because you were one of the person who has helped me to be here, and that is what it is said, and it is very very in time informed to them, boss, it is not possible. If
Mm.
it was possible, then it would have been, we'd gone in a completely wrong way. But I can say, since we started, um, there is not a single wrong thing which we have done, treated
Mm.
anyone wrongly, not paid. We paid all our dues to all our vendors, and there is no one in the industry who would say something bad about us. I'm damn sure about it, and I'm confident about this particular thing because the way we are, and that's our reputation in the industry since so many years. And there's one line which I was thinking, and which we really abide by is that it change is never easy. Okay, but it is necessary for growth.
Right.
Hence it's a very much important to keep learning, keep upskilling, and keep pivoting if need be. I think that is our mantra since all these years, and we both of us align to certain things, and we just jump into that particular situation.
Superb. So thank you, both of you, Manish and Makrand, for sparing the time and being so open with your replies and your thoughts and your perspectives. And I wish you all the best. I look forward to many of those things that you said you will do. I hope to interview you again in future when some of those things may have happened for better, and more perspectives that we can take and learn more and continue our education as such, in the field of entrepreneurship. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vipul, for the invitation, and it's a pleasure being spending time here.
Thank you, Vipul. Thank you, the viewers and people who've asked us these thought-provoking questions. It was fun to be here, and we look forward to maybe a session again in the future. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you very much.